Good morning, fellow YouTubers. I'm here today to discuss a few common and not so common myths about vaping. There's a lot of them I've heard. I'm pretty sure there's even more that you've heard out there. Pretty sure there's more. I've heard less than I haven't heard. Every day they come out with some new BS, mumbo jumbo, trying to scare people away from vaping. I'm going to go over a couple of the basic ones that I've heard. If there's any that I haven't heard, you can actually just drop a comment down below, and I'll address those on an individual basis. But anyway, here it goes. First of all, I actually did a video on this topic. A lot of people say, hey, I want a vape. What do y'all have that won't blow up? And apparently there's this big thing out there about vapes blowing up. Well, let me address that real quick. The blowing up, these little pin mods, regulated mods, even unregulated mods with 510 pins, you don't have to worry about blowing up. The ones you have to worry about, and even then it's very rare for it to happen, is the unregulated hybrid tops, sometimes referred to as hybrid caps, capless, topless. There's a lot of different terminology for them. The most common terminology is hybrid top. There's actually no 510 connection. What ends up happening is the 510 sits directly on the battery. When you get an atomizer where the 510 doesn't protrude enough and it's sitting flush, and I'll show you this as an example. You see how it sits flush? Well, that right there is one of the ones you have an issue with, because the threads on it are actually the negative and the center pin is the positive. When they're sitting flush, you're actually grounding out, you're shorting out the battery. And 18 650s, 26 650 batteries, they're very powerful batteries. You don't want to short them out. Anytime you're messing with electricity like that, you just need to be safe. 510s already installed in the mod, whether it be unregulated, regulated, whether it's fully mechanical, whether it's wired with a MOSFET, whatever. Those you don't really have to worry about. It's the ones that you have a hybrid top. Those are the only ones that have ever blown up. It's not your Smock Aliens, your Wismic Predators. It's not your Sigelli Chaos mods. It's not your unregulated homemade boxes with the MOSFET chip. It's none of those, dude. It's none of those. The ones you have to worry about, they are the unregulated hybrid top mods. And I actually did a whole video on that. You can go ahead, search, and you'll find it right there. It may possibly even be listed down below. So I'm not going to get too in-depth into that topic because I already did a whole video on it. The next common myth that I've heard, well, it's water vapor, so it's going to fill your lungs up with water. First and foremost, I'm going to say this. I am not a medical professional. Full disclaimer, I'm not a medical professional, but I'm also not getting paid for my YouTube videos. These are not a biased opinion. This is just me shedding light and shedding information on the research that I've done. Vape juice is what's known as hygroscopic. Okay? When you exhale the cloud, like this, it's hygroscopic, which means it absorbs moisture. So what ends up happening is your mouth has moisture in it, your lungs, your throat, your esophagus, they all have moisture in them. What ends up happening is as you're inhaling it, it absorbs the moisture and you're exhaling that moisture. So as far as filling your lungs up with water, there's no water in vape juice unless you're buying it from some shady guy off the side of the street who makes it by himself out of the trunk of his car. You don't have to worry about that. You're not putting any water into your lungs. On top of that, you can vape for hours on end and you'll actually get dry mouth. If you're sitting there vaping, it happens to some people. It happens to me sometimes. I'll be sitting there and I'll be vaping, and I'm at the shop. I'm here from 10 a.m. till 6, 7, sometimes 8, sometimes even 9 at night. And our normal hours 10 to 7, but sometimes 9 to 9 is 12 hours straight, and I'll end up with a dry mouth. So I mean, it's kind of hard to even believe that it would put water in your lungs when there's no water in the juice, and it dries out my mouth if I vape too much. Um, and so yeah, as far as water going in your lungs, you'd get more. Even if somebody is blowing vape cloud in your face for an hour straight, you'll still get more moisture in your lungs from taking a 10-minute shower, just from the humidity. Uh, I'm from South Louisiana, a very, very, very humid place. Um, just that being said, right there, I mean, you're gonna get more moisture in your lungs just breathing outside than you will. So, anyway, another common myth that I've heard is it's still smoke. You're still getting that smoke inhalation. It's still secondhand smoke. Well, there's an old saying. It goes, where there's smoke, there's fire. Well, there's a point behind that. There's no actual fire. There's no combustion. Nothing is actually burning or on fire. Therefore, there's no actual smoke. It's just vaporized juice. The problem with the smoke inhalation is it builds a layer of tar on the inside of your lungs. That tar, that's what causes the lung cancer, the pneumonia, the COPD, the chronic bronchitis. It does a number to your lungs. It absolutely destroys it. Once that layer of tar gets thick enough, it actually prevents the transfer of oxygen from your breath to your bloodstream, which you need that oxygen, obviously. Vaping does not leave a layer of tar on your lungs. In fact, the vape, it actually almost does like a steam cleaning job. So if you were a smoker beforehand, you may notice that you'll do a lot of coughing at first. And that actually brings me to my next point. A lot of people think that, hey, I tried vaping and it made me cough. So it can't be as healthy as a cigarette because I didn't cough when I was smoking cigarettes. Let me say this. I used to be a 3-pack a day guy. I used to smoke 3 packs of Marlboro Menthol 100s every day. And when I switched to vaping, my first vape, I was actually using a unregulated mechanical mod. It was a series box, a little homemade style. I was running ohmwork batteries, and I was running a 0.24 ohm of resistance on a Twisted Messes RDA. And to go from 3 packs a day to that, it kicked me in the behind really hard, and yes, it made me cough. The coughing at first, like I said, what happens is all that tar that's building up in your lungs, it's breaking it out. Dude, it blows it out, and it breaks up the tar, and as that tar is just breaking up and crumbling, what ends up happening, your body's natural reaction is to just get rid of it. It's phlegm, it's tar, it's junk, it's stuff that's not supposed to be in the body. So your body just naturally goes to remove it, and the only way that it can remove it is to make you cough. So coughing when you're vaping, when you first start off, is perfectly normal, especially if you were a vapor. Because I've seen a lot of people who've never smoked a day in their life and they've never coughed. Now some do cough, some don't. It all depends on on you. Everybody is different. I've seen some people who have smoked a lot and don't cough, and I've seen somebody who smoked like 1 or 2 cigarettes a week, and when they vape, they cough. It's a hit or miss thing. Everybody reacts differently, and as to how fast it actually breaks up the tar, that's totally up to your body and how much you vape. Another thing about it being dangerous is like, well, you don't know what's in it. It's a bunch of chemicals. No, it's not. It's food grade propylene glycol. There is food grade vegetable glycerin. Vegetable glycerin. Okay, what's that? It's a all natural plant-based thickener and sweetener. That's in everything from pecan pie to cough syrup. It's in your Powerade. It's in your Gatorade. It's in your NyQuil, Dayquil. It's in everything. It's just a thickener and a sweetener. That's all it is. If you consume anything, pretty much anything besides steak and veggies, you're probably intaking a decent amount of vegetable glycerin as it is. Go ahead and read the content, the ingredient list on that can of Mountain Dew in your hand, trust me, you're going to see it. The other ingredient is food grade propylene glycol. Everybody says, oh, well, that's antifreeze. No, there's several different types of propylene glycol. What actually makes the vape juice hygroscopic, as I said earlier in the video, is the same thing that it's in the antifreeze for the same reason. It is in antifreeze. It is not antifreeze. It is perfectly safe for human consumption. Also, anything with artificial flavoring that you consume, those bottles with the fake lemon with the lemon juice, you get any soda, any beverage, any food that has artificial flavoring, it contains food grade propylene glycol. Cakes, everything. It doesn't matter. It's in there if there's artificial flavoring. If there's any kind of artificial flavoring, it's in there because that's what carries the flavor, is the propylene glycol. And then the third ingredient is your nicotine. Now, your nicotine, first of all, not every juice comes with nicotine. Personally, at the shop, we very rarely carry juice that has nicotine in it, but we sell the nicotine packet separately. That way you can put it at whatever level you want. It just makes more sense from a business standpoint to do it that way, because if we carry juice, I'm gonna use Beard Vape Company number 32, the cinnamon funnel cake, for example. If we carry in stock, we have 3 to 3 milligrams, 3 to 6 milligram, 3 to 9 milligram, and 3 to 12 milligram. Well, what if somebody comes in and they want 0? Nothing to sell them. If they want it, but they want it 3, but we're out of the 3s, we have 6 and 12s. Well, we still have it. It's costing us the same amount regardless whether that has nicotine in it or not. But if it has 0, if we carry juice that has 0 in it, it can appeal to everybody. Because we have a lot. Our goal here is to get people off of cigarettes, get them off of dip, get them off of all tobacco products in general, and then work them off of nicotine. Vaping is cool. Vaping can be fun, but you don't want to replace one habit with another. You want to be totally free of all vices. That's the end goal. So we work on getting people down to 0, and there's a lot of people that come in and don't use any nicotine at all, because we help people get off of cigarettes. That's our thing. We want you to stop smoking cigarettes. That's the number one goal here. Personally, I started off at 4 milligrams. Now, that kind of seems kind of low for somebody who used to be 3-pack a day, but keep in mind it was a fully mechanical, unregulated mod, so it really hit, so I had to go to lower level, which is what I started with. I do have a few regulated devices, but I tend to stick around unregulated more. Here lately, this Smock Pen, the Vape Pen Plus, that's what I've really been sticking with for the past couple days. I love it, absolutely do. I've charged it 2 days ago and it's still kicking strong. Can't beat that. As far as myths go, that covers a few of the basic ones. The only other things people say, that some people are still convinced that cigarettes are just as bad as are the same as vaping, and vaping is just as bad as smoking, and it's not. There's three, sometimes 2 ingredients in vape juice, and cigarettes contain over 4,000 known chemicals. And then when you factor in that combustion process, when it's actually being burnt, some of those chemicals bond with one another in the combustion process, creating new, more harmful chemicals. They just do a number. And there has been no study ever that proved anything negative about vaping. But even in let's say a worst case scenario, let's say there was anything wrong with vaping, which FDA's been trying to prove that for the longest time and failed miserably. But even if there was something bad with it and you had to pick your vice, would you rather have 3 chemicals going in your body or 4,000? That's up to you. But at the end of the day, vaping is the way to go. Can't go wrong. Just can't. That's about all I have for right now. I'll probably post another video a little bit later this afternoon. Any suggestions on reviews, anything you'd like to know about, leave comments down below and I'll respond. I'll happily respond and do reviews. There's a lot of different things we carry here at the shop, so let me know, and I'll see y'all a little bit later. Have a great day. Keep on vaping.